So, right now, uh, kicking off the All Council info session presented by the Inter-Residence Hall Association. So, just to start off, what is the IRHA? IRHA, Inter-Residence Hall Association, is one of the orgs on campus here. We represent the interests of residents and help improve campus life. We create events for residents of Roger Williams, as well as collaborate with the hall councils of the individual res halls. Who am I? My name is Doug Brown. I'm IRHA's VP. I oversee the hall council related programming, keep up to date on hall council events. My other duties are facilitating the hall council training, which we'll get to a little bit later this month. I operate the HawkLink page for our organization, operate a lot of meetings and events through that as well. And I'm also responsible for the Hall Council structure and organization. So what is the Hall Council? Hall Council is the bridge between IRHA residents and the residents of the campus. Allow students to express their opinions and concerns in an organized way, as well as advocating for student experience within their community. One of the big things that they do are putting on events that are either academically, emotionally, or socially beneficial to the residents on campus. Just some base expectations that we want out of each hall council. Looking for 3 events to be put on by the time winter break comes around, along with 1 community service project. We want weekly meetings, help at IRHA events, and for you guys to maintain contact with me throughout that so I can be as much help as possible. Advocacy is going to be one of the bigger things that we're focusing on this semester. We want the residents to use Hall Council as an outlet for their voice. We want for you guys to help address and solve issues at hand that present themselves in your individual hall councils. Now, those could fall into smaller issues that could be solved with you and your HC advisor, or could trickle into larger issues, which will be brought IRHA with the advocacy committee. We'll touch on some other time. Now, the power is in the hands of the students. That's the primary focus, this advocacy function. The IRHA Advocacy Committee will be another outlet for those larger issues. But again, advocacy is one of the primary things that we want all councils to do. But that's just like what we want. What can you get out of Hall Council? A lot of skills that you can gain out from joining our thing is increased organizational and practical skills, a lot of connections and networking in and outside of the campus with the events that you put on and the interactions that you have with the organizational and student life people on campus. You'll also get the chance to advocate and support the community at Roger Williams. A lot of people find the active involvement that you get on campus be one of the biggest things that they get out of Hall Council. And it's also a pretty great resume builder. Now we're going to get into the executive board positions on a position by position level. First up, the president. President's duty is to lead and prepare for each meeting. You must also communicate with the HC advisors during scheduled one-on-ones, as well as when necessary. Make sure that the expectations of the hall councils that we went over earlier are being met on a regular basis. One of the other things that we're adding, the leadership committee, which will meet bi-weekly, and for you guys to also communicate regularly with me as the president. Now, vice president / advocacy chair. Your duties include assisting the president with running meetings and programs, filling in for the president if they are unable to fill the duties, if they're absent, have you. But as the advocacy chair, you will be the one leading the advocacy efforts of the residential community and keeping track of all council needs, whatever that may fall into. Also, if the programming or PR position is vacant, you must also assume those duties. Programming and PR, or public relations, be the chair position in charge of leading all programming efforts, designing flyers for events, programs, and initiatives, or advocacy initiatives, will also fall under your directive. Don't worry, we have design centers if you're less artsy than some. Your job is also to send out emails for events to HC advisors, and then to send those to residents, and also posting those flyers and advertising on social media to get the audience in advertising, actively seeing what is going on inside campus and the residence hall. Treasurer will be keeping track of the hall council budget. You'll be submitting the budget request IRHA through the Hawk link. We'll have you guys trained up for exactly what that entails, as well as sharing budget request information to the IRHA rep for the IRHA meetings, which will be weekly, if that budget request goes over $250. Next up, we have the secretary position. Secretaries will take attendance at all the hall council meetings, as well as meeting minutes. And then following that, your job will be to send the meeting minutes to hall council members, and then submit those to IRHA via Hawk. Last but certainly not least is the IRHA representative. The IRHA representative will serve as liaison between the Residence Hall Association and the respective hall council. It's your job to attend all weekly hall council and general assembly meetings for IRHA, to present hall council budget requests if the treasurer has submitted one for over $250. And another important factor is you must actively serve on at least one IRHA standing committee. We let you choose which ones and then fill in where you have the most need in individual positions. So next up, say if you don't get into that, you can still be an active member of a hall council through the general body. As a general body member, your job is to help and plan and put on events, advocating for residence halls, addressing concerns, asking questions at hall council meetings to make sure that everything is being addressed. And you must pull hall councils together and allow the voices of the residents to be heard. Again, you guys are the voice and power in the hands of the residents. So anyway, the elections begin on Sunday, 6th, this coming Sunday, when you can start campaigning for the positions that you would like to run for. You will have the next week to campaign, and then following Monday, the positions will be decided based on popular vote. And then submit your whole council member information, contact, important derivatives and stuff that would help us get to know you better. You must submit that to the hall council advisors. Following that Saturday be the hall council training day, which we have posted from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. So it's a 4-hour training session, but it should be pretty cut and dry. We've tried to make sure that it's as condensed as possible, so you guys can still enjoy your day while still learning how to be the hall council members. Now, I don't want to sound too dry here. I want to reemphasize this is supposed to be fun. You're volunteering for these positions. But if at any point you are like thinking to yourself, it's not going to be fun, it's just going to be like dry and dull. I mean, I personally have been a member of hall council for years, and it's definitely helped shape my my college experience, as well as everybody else that's on the standing e-board for IRHA. We wouldn't have stayed on it. It wasn't so much fun. So believe me when I say this, it will be some of the best experiences that you will have at college. As for campaign guidelines for your elections, get back on a high horse. You'll be getting updates from community directors on the specific guidelines that they would want to follow for specific hall council election processes. We were trying to think of like some general rules that we could apply to everyone, but each hall council kind of has like their own niche way of getting through the election process. So if they have like a certain way, they're just going to run with it and go with that, rather than us trying to impose some umbrella rule over everything. Now, with that being said, I'd like to open up the floor and ask if there are any questions or comments that people have this time. I will stop screen sharing for a moment, but I can